I'm Douglas Massey, and in this video, I'll be going over my final expense appointment setting script, and I'm going to show you, one, not only how to both correctly and effectively set final expense appointments, but two, I'm going to show you how to get a copy of my final expense appointment setting script for yourself. And as always, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe with the notifications turned on. We're putting out new content, new training videos just like this every week. And yes, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to get a copy of the appointment setting script that you're going to see me use for yourself. So stick around. Before going over my script, it's important that you get into the correct mindset and maybe correct state of mind of a successful appointment setter. Now, make sure that you're away from everybody else in the house and that no one will disturb you once you get started, once you start your dials. Get yourself a little pumped up, and that's what I like to do. Be positive. Pick up your phone, put a big smile on that face, and start dialing. Tip number one, make sure you have lots of energy and enthusiasm while you're smiling and doing your dials. The biggest fail I believe for most agents is that they start off okay and then they tend to relax and get a little monotone as the calls go on. And the next thing you know, they're blowing really easy appointments. Appointments that they would have gotten, right when they started. And it's all because I think, you start to get a little bit bored and the prospects can sense that over the phone. You are much better off being too excited and energetic than not exciting enough, more monotone. You don't want that, because what tends to happen is people sense our energy, even over the phone, and that energy tends to be very contagious. It's the same as when you're door knocking leads and maybe making your final expense sales presentation, or even any presentation really. Tip number two, when you're going through your leads, you should be double dialing every single lead, and even try doing a triple dial through some of the leads, at least a couple of times during your calling day, during your phone day. And when I say double dial and triple dial, you call Mrs. Jones, for instance, and if she doesn't answer, you hang up, you do a 5 count, then you dial her again, and if she fails to answer, you do another 5 count and call her one more time. If you do this several times throughout the day, throughout your phone day, you'll get her to answer, if she's near the phone at least. Trust me on that. Which leads us to tip number 3. Make sure that you call through all of your leads at least 8 to 10 times on your phone days. So, just to be clear, your phone day should be completely dedicated to calling the leads first, as your phone is the #1 priority, setting the appointments, and then maybe doing your office, your client service work as a secondary priority. They call it a phone day for a reason, guys. Remember, if you're a bit of a slacker on your phone day and you don't put it all out there, you're not going to have enough appointments, or at least you won't have very many appointments, and will more likely end up just door knocking most of your leads. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but the harder that you work, the more activity you do, the more people you'll get in front of, and the more families that you'll be helping, which means, of course, the more sales you'll make. One more tip, and relax, hang on a second, guys. I'm going to be getting into the script here in a second, but just bear with me. When the prospect answers the phone, just remember that they're the person who sent in the card or filled out the form on Facebook, not you. So don't take any nonsense. Be strong on the phone. But remember, the idea is that when you call and they pick up the phone, you want to speak with them almost as if you've already spoken before and maybe you're old friends by now. I always start by calling the prospect by their first name. Hello, Ralph. This is Doug Massey. How are you today? Well, great. Now, Ralph, the reason for my call is that you had recently written down all of your information on this little card, and you mailed it into my office. If you remember, it was about the 2022 benefit plans for Florida residents. So I just need to verify your information really quick. Now, on the card, it does say that your age is 66. Is that correct? And your address is 321 Main Street. Is that correct? And your spouse here, it doesn't say anything about a spouse. Is it just for you, or are you married? Okay, great. Now, one last thing. Is there an apartment number or a lot number? So let's just pause for a second and maybe break down what I've done so far. First, I found out if there is a spouse. Remember, they're not always going to put their spouse information, and then you'll set an appointment, and this is the nightmare. You'll go to your presentation, you'll make a great presentation, and at the end, the guy or the gal says, oh, I don't do anything without speaking to my wife first. So just find out if there's a spouse before you set an appointment, and if there is one, I definitely suggest getting them there. I mean, they need to be there as long as they actually live under the same roof. And the second thing that I did is I asked about a lot number or apartment number. There's going to be leads with like a P.O. box, and the client tends to write the address and maybe, doesn't put the lot number in, or maybe it just doesn't have the correct number sometimes, the correct address. But either way, some folks just live in like the back of a house, or like maybe, on the side of a house, and like the apartment number isn't officially listed with the post office. So either way, just always ask about a lot number or apartment number. And once we've done that, we continue with setting the appointment. Okay, Ralph, perfect. Now, I do need to meet with you and the wife for about 10 minutes. Of course, you're gonna say that if there is a wife, to go over this with you. And I'm gonna be in your area tomorrow, and I have an opening to stop by between 9 and 9:30. How's that with you, okay? So again, let's just talk about what I did here. Notice how I said, how's that with you, okay? This is actually very important to say correctly, because when you say it the way that I just did, how's that with you, okay? It's like it almost puts the word yes into their mouth. It's like I'm making more of a statement than I'm asking a question, and this really, really works well when you say it exactly the way I just, said it. Don't make something else and do something similar. Is that okay with you? Because you just sounded like you're asking for something, and they'll absolutely say, no, I'm not interested. Click. Also, guys, I always try to set the appointment for the next day, not several days ahead out, but for tomorrow, period. And now, okay, so let's say if you're calling on a Saturday, all right, and you want to make it on a Monday, and that's fine. Saturday is actually an exception to the rule. Just remember, the further out the appointment is, the more likely you'll be stood up by more people. That's exactly how it's going to go. And if it's a couple of days out, what I do is I just go and I don't give them a reminder call. I mean, the thing is, you should be too busy for that nonsense. Remember, you're trying to set the appointment for tomorrow. If it's not convenient for them, then you shouldn't be chasing them, giving them a reminder call anyways. And if you do, half of these people will change their mind, they'll make up an excuse, or they'll lie to you, and then they'll cancel the appointment. So let's just go back to the script. Okay, Ralph, now I also need you to go ahead and grab a pen and paper so that I can give you my very important information. Just let me know when you're ready, okay? Ralph, are you ready yet? Just let me know when you are. I wait for them to speak and let me know that they are ready. Okay, well, Ralph, my name is Doug Massey, spelled M-A-S-S-I, and I'm going to see you tomorrow, write this down, between 9 and 9:30. And Ralph, please put that down on your calendar and maybe even on your refrigerator. Just make sure that the wife is there too. Great. Now, one more thing. Is there any guard gates, security gates, locked gates, or even big dogs that I'm going to need to deal with when I arrive? Excellent. Well, again, Ralph, I appreciate your time on the phone, and I do look forward to meeting with the two of you guys tomorrow between 9 and 9:30. You have a great day, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye now. When you're strong on the phone, you got the energy, you got the enthusiasm, and you sound like a pro, you should get an appointment from just about everybody that you can actually get to answer the phone. You will get at least a couple of appointments from every, I want to say, 3 people that you speak with. You should be able to get, really, if you talk to 3 people, you should be getting 2 appointments. And that's a pretty accurate number. And finally, guys, last tip. Let's say that you've been setting appointments and the phone rings, right? Do not answer it unless you know that it's someone you've been calling and haven't been able to reach. This is important. The last thing that you want to do is answer the phone and have someone who maybe you've already set the appointment with just call to cancel. let them leave a message and you go anyways. Look, here's the way I see it. Worst comes to worst, you go there anyways and you find out that just like in the message that they had a doctor's appointment and they aren't there, but you will find, and this is my experience, that most people will actually be there at the time just like they're supposed to, because when it's all said and done, anytime that you're in a sales business, including ours, you learn that buyers tend to get cold feet and they can easily become liars. Just go to the appointment. Don't listen to the nonsense. For a copy of my appointment setting script that we talked about earlier, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com for more information on selling final expense and or maybe Medicare Advantage, Medicare products as a truly independent insurance agent. Just shoot me an email at that same address. Remember guys, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now get out there and do something good for someone today. Happy hunting.